I want a word with you. Yes, I'd like a word with you.
I'd like a word with you.
Yes.
Yes.
Slightly judgmental. It's like
Yes.
you're a prep school and you've been a bit of a naughty boy.
Yes. Or
Yeah.
when I was a kid, my mother would say my full name and then she would say, I want a word with you.
Yes, there we go. You're in trouble. But for example, we take a word like guy, G-U-Y. We all use that word. He's a nice guy. But we're going to talk about guy.
I'm going to hold us to that, by the way.
Yeah. And we're going to find out why we refer to humanoids like man, boy, guy. He's a nice guy. Well, there was a fellow called Guy Fawkes, Fawkes, who was very displeased with King James at the time and decided that he'd wait until all the politicians got together, and Guy Fawkes decided to bring all of these barrels of gunpowder down under the Houses of Parliament and light them off when all of these chaps had congregated, including the king. But he was discovered. The plot was uncovered. Gunpowder, treason and fire. Guy Fawkes was arrested and shortly thereafter immolated. That's not, I want a word with you, word. Immolation is, they popped him on a chair and then popped him on the top of a large bonfire and lit it. So poor Mr. Guy Fawkes was burned to death, which was a punishment in those days. Guy wove his way into the English sensibility because it was celebrated as at the time actually, it was sort of Catholic versus Protestant. Guy was on the wrong side that week. But what happened was, to celebrate this event, the English have their firework day. Guy Fawkes became well known because all the kids used to collect money prior to November the 5th, which is Guy Fawkes Day in England. And the money, they wheeled around an effigy of a man in a wheelbarrow, which was meant to be Guy Fawkes, and called out penny for the guy.
And now the podcast. I'd like a word with you, with Jeremy Fosterfell and Vicky Schwarz. So Jeremy, you made a reply on Facebook the other day. Would you read that, please?
To Miss Jane, a friend of mine, posted, not her quote, a quote from some pundit. And she was not understanding the word predicate in the context. And it goes on to say on how Mueller's report will be received by the public when it comes out. But she's asking about the trying to set a predicate portion. Can someone translate that for me? I'm not sure whether this is a question for my lawyer friends, philosophy friends, mathematician friends, maybe my English major friends. And I responded, perhaps the truncated version of predicate makes more sense, which would actually be predict. As dic is also the imperative case in Latin from the verb dicere, which means to speak.
D-I-C-E-R-E.
So dic actually is a command that means speak. Or maybe the homophone, which is spelt P-R-E-D-I-C-K, explains it all better. And so predict, P-R-E-D-I-C, could be speak before, as in the phrase speak before you think, or tweet before you think.
Or tweet before you think. First interesting thing that I don't understand is homophone. How did you mean this?
A homophone, which is a lovely word, well, it's actually two Greek words. Homo, everybody knows, but not the rude version you think of. Short for homogeneous in general. Is where it comes from. And phonos, of course, is Greek for sound. So what you're looking for is a word that has the same sound, but a different meaning, and maybe a different spelling.
Oh, that's a homily.
Well, stay on. Don't get it complicated. Oh, yeah.
Homophone with a K.
Yes, you see, what happens is when you say predict, as a word doesn't exist. We said if we do sort of a KFC to it, taking Kentucky Fried Chicken and chopping the words out. What I'm saying is that they rhyme. P-R-E-D-I-C-K and P-R-E-D-I-C rhyme.
Yeah, I mean, this is the most blunt that you could be. It's the same word. You have to try really hard if you want somebody to understand you saying one or the other.
Well, we started with the one ending in C, predict, but the minute we stick a K on it, we're automatically thinking of predict. It sounds the same. Admittedly, I don't exactly say the same, because I say predict and then I say predict. And he's favoring one over the other. But they're close to homophonic. I'm so sorry to use such complicated words.
All right, so then I think there was one other thing.
I hope so.
We've
been in real trouble. If we're going to be limited, if we're going to be limited to 3, this is the last one. and this is where we're going to be going. Today's word is preposterous. And you hear the same thing, it's absolutely preposterous, and wondering if they could have any idea what it means. Pre is forward, and posterios is what it sounds like, your ass. So all it means really is to stick your ass forward. That's what preposterous means. And you're going to say, no, that's not possible. You have an expression in America which is actually ass backwards. And what is that? Whoops, it sounds a lot like preposterous to me. It's preposterous. Today's word. It's preposterous. It's stick your ass forward. I recall conversation along these lines, but unfortunately, it's not coming back. Microphone, which means small sound, but we'll talk about that another day.